Hi, my name is Rob McCreary from Edina, and today we have with us Shannon Tabaldo, who is the director of the Ideal Institute at LMU. How you doing today, Shannon?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing really well. We really appreciate your time today. We thank you so much for your time. And, just to start, I'd love to kind of hear a little bit about your background, who you are, and how you are associated with both LMU and Edina.
Sure. I am the director of the Ideal Institute, that's Innovation in Digital Education and Leadership, here in the School of Education at LMU.
Mhm.
I've been here about 6 years. I'm an alum, as you are.
I am as well.
I focus on technology integration within the School of Ed and teacher preparation programs and other programs here within the School of Education, as well as in our K-12 partnerships across the state of California. So I came across Edina while I was searching. This was about 4 years ago. I was searching for a solution to serve our teacher candidates, our teacher preparation candidates
Mm-hmm.
that were spread out across the state of California. So we have a campus here in Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
just north of the LA airport. And then we also have a satellite campus up in the San Francisco Bay Area where we serve about 300 students in that area. And what
Okay.
was happening was we were anticipating an influx of teacher candidates across the Central Valley. So between Sacramento and
Right.
basically the Los Angeles Valley area, the Bakersfield, Avenal, and all the way up kind of through that Fresno space. And so that was an area that we were very concerned about how we would serve those teacher candidates when that wasn't an area that we had fieldwork supervisors already in play. And so I began to kind of search for something, a video platform specifically, that would help us, these teacher candidates, record their lessons that they were giving and then be able to get feedback from their fieldwork instructors. And so Edina came to me in kind of that search. And so
Great.
we began our 3-year pilot with them at that time.
Great. Well, it sounds like we kind of came right at the right time where you were looking for a service that definitely does exactly that, which is kind of provide a video coaching cycle. I kind of heard you said Athena has been positive in terms of being able to serve areas in which you couldn't reach. What are kind of some other benefits that you have seen, both from your organizational standpoint from using Athena, and then also maybe some stories you've heard from teachers with their use?
Sure. So it really did, like I said, help us kind of serve not only that Central Valley, but also in the San Francisco Bay Area, in that Northern California area. We began using the TPE program that was built into Athena to help our students, our teacher candidates, prepare for and pass the TPEs.
Okay.
And so that was happening kind of in the Northern California area in year one of the pilot. And then we began to serve the Los Angeles area, which is extremely spread out.
Right.
In that area as well. So not only were we able to make these connections with our students and our teacher candidates, but our faculty members began to explore the platform in a way that we really didn't anticipate or expect them to do. So explorations came into play with Athena, and so faculty members could assign these explorations and the teacher candidates could begin to work on their assignments within there. The biggest benefit that our faculty and our students have commented on, at least in the early sessions, was the ability that they could upload their videos easily. We didn't have to do it. I mentioned to you earlier, I was the only tech support at LMU when we adopted Athena because it was a pilot. And so when we do pilots, especially in technology, our university IT kind of says, well, this isn't a fully adopted program, and so you're kind of on your own. And so I was like a little worried that I could be up late, and I never had any of those issues. So our teacher candidates and our faculty members were easily able to navigate the systems with a little bit of training and some support based on what you guys were able to provide and what we were able to provide here on campus. And then what was really magical was the fact that we could stop the video or insert comments and questions and tags and information and create a dialogue at a specific point in the video, which really wasn't, we couldn't do that in any other way. So what we were doing was recording things on VHS or digital video, and then we were transcribing it, having the students transcribe it, and then asking questions and things like that. And it created, this created a gap in the learning. But this was almost like as close to real time as we could get without stopping a virtual simulation or something like that. So it was really powerful in that regard. And then from there, we were able to expand the pilot.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds like it was definitely a time-saving initiative for you guys. I heard
travel.
And travel. So time-saving in really a lot of ways. I heard you mentioning kind of your process for managing this pilot, and I think it would be great and beneficial for some of our other partners to kind of hear about that process. Oftentimes we actually have partners who mention, LMU as such a staple because the way you systematically now use video. And as someone who's managed that process, I'd love to hear a little bit of how you went from point A to where you are now.
So we couldn't have done it without the support of our reps at EdThena, because I really felt like I was starting from scratch and alone in the process here at the university. So what we did was we focused on a 3-year pilot. Year 1 was going to be exclusively our teacher candidates, our teacher preparation candidates. And we learned how to do things like, how do we train the students? We created a student made a video for their peers, and we share that amongst the library. So anybody who creates a course in EdThena has access to that. They can go grab that and put it in there so their students can watch that video. That pretty much eliminates student training. Faculty members, we opened up information sessions so that they could come and learn about EdThena. And it wasn't just me talking, it was our pilot group of teachers who were kind of saying, this is what I do. And then what ended up happening was late in year 1, the counseling program said, we want to do that. And so we began to work with the counseling department, which also sits in the School of Education. And we were able to create their courses and create an experience for the counseling program where they could record counseling sessions and work through those privately and securely in the platform. And so that was really, I think, the turning point for us was where the counseling program and then our pilot group of teacher preparation faculty, as well as our fieldwork instructors, created that kind of explosion of like, now they're all talking amongst themselves, and it's like, you're doing this, and how are you doing this, and I want to do that too. And so it became where we were not only serving our Northern California, but now our Southern California, our Central Valley, and our counseling departments within the School of Ed. So it wasn't, by no means it was seamless. There was, the thought that this was really challenging or very difficult, but once we created a system of who's creating the courses, who's kind of managing them. In the beginning, they always added me as an administrator to every course. That way I could get in and kind of fix little bugs. But honestly, once they had done it once or twice, that was all eliminated. And now I don't sit in any courses anymore.
Right. You're kind of backed off. Okay.
Yeah. The department chairs kind of manage how many courses. They create the courses, they invite the faculty then invite the students through their rostering, and then the kind of back-end licensing is now, after the 3 years, is handled by our IT department. So it was handled kind of by us for a while. And so we were kind of like, well, we bought this many licenses, so this is kind of how we were structuring it. And there was like, I don't want to say Hunger Games kind of battles about who's getting licenses, but it was fun. It was neat to kind of see the excitement and the passion that the faculty, our university faculty, were having over who was going to be using this and how.
Right. It's great to hear that it seems like after time, both professors and users kind of were able to kind of take the onus on themselves and the burden of creating their own groups, creating their own classes, and figuring out how to use Athena on their own. And that burden was kind of taken from you as an administrator once the excitement was there.
Absolutely.
That's a great story. And I think the whole story of kind of how LMU is used is super beneficial for the rest of our partners to hear about. So we really appreciate your time. That's kind of all we have for today, but I really appreciate you taking the time today and sharing your story about how LMU has used video coaching in such an important way at your school.
Happy to help.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Shannon. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Rob.
All right.